Failure. This ugly, necessary part of creating anything, it seems. We have all been there. I sort of wish I could tell you that I wasn't there constantly, but it's true. I exist most of the time artistically in this headspace of, I wish I was better at this. And there are so many thises. Failure, and giving in to the emotional aftershock of that failure, can hamstring your progress and destroy the joy that comes from art in the first place. So today, I have some strategies that may help you as you deal with moving on from a piece that simply did not live up to your expectations. The metaphors and personal stories will be mostly centered on art making, but I know I and many others have the same thoughts and struggles when it comes to writing songs or stories as well. The following are not necessarily in order of importance or operation, though I would start with acknowledging the feeling. First of all, it's beneficial to just accept what you're feeling and hold on to that for a moment. Do you feel sad? Disappointed about what happened? That's okay. You don't have to move on from the feeling immediately. It is human to have an emotional reaction to success or failure. There's nothing wrong with that. I can sometimes struggle to acknowledge my own feelings as being relevant or even valid, but I have found over time that it's quite important to do so. But once you've held on to that emotion, let it go. We have to acknowledge that emotional reaction as part of us and part of the process, and then we can't hold on to it any longer. Holding on to that only turns it into a weight upon our shoulders that keeps us stuck, and often, stuck is the last place we want to be. Assess what happened. This can be an immediate reaction for many, but if you're feeling highly emotional, I would save it for later. It follows nicely after acknowledging the feeling though, so I have it here in our lineup. If you are capable, take a look at the failure and try to figure out what went wrong. Did you get excited and move into the piece too quickly? Was your reference material not up to the task? Or did you not even have reference material for this particular piece? Were your expectations too high? This one is personal. It's often what gets me. It seems most disappointment comes from expectations that were simply too high at that point in time. If you can nail down what happened, what went wrong in your eyes, you now have one more piece of the puzzle the next time you work on a comparable piece. Write it down. Yes, seriously. We are human, we can't remember everything, and you can remove a little anxiety from your process by just creating a list of little lessons and reminders. If you don't already do this, now is a great opportunity to create a little list of art notes in your phone, on your Google Docs, or even on the inside of your cover to your sketchbook. Anywhere that can be a resource for you. If you are able to figure out what went wrong, even if it isn't the whole story, it's progress. And if that failed piece gives you a little forward momentum, then it's not a total failure, is it? Give yourself an easy win. This means stick to something in your wheelhouse, something you are more confident in. If this means you go back to drawing lines and boxes, so be it. I have been there. If you have totally collapsed into a puddle of sadness and artistic inability, go back to the childlike joy of mark making. Play with colors. Just get something on that paper. This appeals to your emotions by working to correct the negative feelings concerning the failure. When looking back on a situation, we often only remember our last emotional experience connected to that situation. So if you can change the narrative in your memory to be connected to a little positive success after that initial failure, that's just rewiring things to be more positive. What are some of your ideas for easy wins when you have to get back into your craft? Please let me know in the comments down below. Don't wait to create something again. Dive back in. This goes along with giving yourself an easy win. Get back in there. I often struggle to re-engage with a medium after something went sideways. If I work on an oil painting and it just doesn't do what I need it to, I now have additional friction between me and my next painting. Often, that next painting will be prepped and sitting on my easel for days or even weeks. It just looms as this inescapable boundary that I don't seem to be able to overcome mentally. I can work towards alleviating this by just giving myself an easy win and working on something really simple, something without a background. The key point is I just need to get back into the medium. The longer I wait, the more my imagination has time to create inhibitions toward that work. And this is not a rhetorical statement. As I mentioned earlier, I literally do this. As I'm recording right now, there are 2 primed canvases staring at my back, wondering why I won't just start them. So maybe adjust your expectations. Maybe the goal isn't to create a spectacular painting this time, but just to nail the colors, just to nail the outline, just to get one mark on that canvas. Focus on something smaller. Maybe just promise yourself you'll work for 15 minutes, whatever it takes. Take a break. Okay, so this totally contradicts the point prior, but taking a break is sometimes the best option. If you find that you are feeling highly emotional about the situation, take a break for a few minutes, but commit to come back later. Sometimes a few minutes won't be enough, and you need to leave a piece on your easel or in your sketchbook for days, for a week. And again, that situation is made better by committing to come back. I've found that it can be helpful and rejuvenating to take a break and come back to my artwork later. If you're able, try to set up what will be necessary when you come back to that artwork though. So if that means taking a 15-minute break and making sure that your paints are ready for diving back in, or making sure your pencils are sharpened, making sure that you have the music ready to go before you engage with your next piece. Anything to eliminate the hardship of re-engaging. Redefine failure. Before we finish up, I think we have to acknowledge that we might be looking at this wrong from the very start. I often think of a piece that did not turn out the way I wanted as a failure, but maybe that isn't correct. Maybe it's the building block of a new foundation, and I just didn't know it at the time. Failure has such a negative connotation to it that even if it is the correct term, it might be beneficial to throw that term aside if it hits you negatively. Just think of it as a necessary step in the creative journey. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can just be a thing. Well, I hope you found some of these strategies helpful. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful and creative rest of your day. Have a good one, y'all. See you soon.